In this video I'm going to take a look at how to draw the timber frame first floor detail. So I'm going to start off looking at this three-dimensional image, which is very good for showing just how it all goes together. So we have our head binder, head plate, and we have our joist of the next floor, and you can see the sheathing is carried over the floor edge, and resting on top of this here we have where the pen is now our joist running to the trimmer joist, and above that you have well, I'm showing it's 225 millimeters, and would be kind of standard. You've got a flooring material which could be tongue and groove, probably 18 millimeters in thickness, and if it doesn't continue out onto the edge, you can see that there's a packing placed underneath the next timber frame above that. So very good detail here. If you need to go back to that there to take a look at it, it would be advisable. So starting off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to omit some details as well. In this I've got a sketch of how the whole thing would go together. You can see I want to draw at a scale of 1:5. The axis shows the edges of the timbers, 100mm block or brick or whatever's out on the outside, 50mm cavity, our breather membrane or OSB board, and you can see each of these are shown in the three-dimensional drawn as well. Big difference here maybe would be that if there was a head of a window detail, there you can see I have drawn in window lintel. You may have that there, and I've put it in about roughly I think it's 450mm from the bottom of the drawing on that there. So I'm going to start by drawing the timber frame itself and the OSB board on the outside of it. I think I measured up 85mm from bottom line to the bottom of the ceiling joist, and it should give me plenty of room to draw in my lintel detail. A lintel could be placed just directly in underneath the floor as well, if there was, depending on the height clearance it would be on that. So my headers, my head plate, my binding plate, and you can see the trim rafter on the trim joist above that, and we've got 3 making up the 150mm thickness for our timber lintels shown here below that, and I really only have a space of about 100mm, so I think it's 20mm between it and the head and binder plate. Drawing the block wall on the outside here, and have my floor and my packing piece shown as well, and I also need to put in 50mm off the bottom of the stud and the top level. I've forgotten about it here, and I'm heading into the details. I can always go back to that, and I'm drawing in a detail as well too of the tie, and I've used a colour for the breather membrane on the outside. So every 450mm, be every 2 blocks or every 6 bricks, you would have to have your wall tie. I haven't shown them going terribly far into the wall, and again, to keep just for clarity in the drawing, I have not included a service cavity or any of the internal pieces in this here, so that we can just focus on how the arrangements of the timbers would be in the drawing. It doesn't really matter how far I go out with the ceiling joist here either, and all the details are being drawn in here. I've got my bottom of my stud frame continuing on up here now. Pause it at the end and take a look at all the details, and when you're filling these in your own drawing, that's the way to go about it. One little detail there on the ceiling joist that you can see where the edges, I'm just after writing it in there, the bridging support, it supports the last flooring board on the top, and if you had a ceiling, your plasterboard ceiling would be fixed to that, or your service cavity. It also gives support to the edge that would be fitted into that as well. A little bit of colour, as always, helps lift the whole drawing off the page, and I haven't included any insulation in this here. Just again, the colour will do suffice in this case, rather than going through all the detail in that, just to show that that's the placing where the insulation would be.